Twitches is a 2005 Disney Channel original movie starring Tia and Tamara Mowry as two long-lost twins who must use their newfound magic to save Coventry, the name of their magical homeland that also sounds like a line of premium stoneware from Pottery Barn. These two sisters must team up on their Halloween birthday to defeat a dark force that's powerful enough to move your hair around, lurk passively outside your window, and cause light bulbs to shoot out harmless sparks. This is worse than Pearl Harbor, but thankfully we've got our Twitches, which stands for Twin Witches, by the way. I thought it was a fun way to call someone epileptic. Today, we're rounding out October with another Halloween TV movie featuring unbeatable chemistry, limited world building, and all of the prettiest female costumes from medieval times. I bet the fabric still smells like ham. Stay tuned for another spooky installment of Clip Breakdown, baby. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. I'm saying that word with a P, by the way. This is the playlist where we dive into the TV and movies that we love so much, edit it down to just digestible little clips, and then you shove them into your eye orifice. Somehow that works out for both of us. We win all around. I had never seen Twitches before very last night, so this was a really exciting movie for me to get into because usually I've seen these Halloween movies from when I was a kid. This one, for somehow, was not on my radar in 2005 when I was 14. I was probably too busy with my community theater production of Cinderella. I played a townsperson, so you can imagine I had a lot going on. So before we get into it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns like this. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right down here. You guys, we're almost to 100,000 subscribers. I can't even fathom that. I can't even fathom that. I can't even fathom that. Also, you can check out my merch in the links below, the aloe plant merch. I've got some new designs coming, so stay tuned. Also, shout out to how many beverages I have on the table at this time. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. I woke up with the sun to shoot this video today, kind of like our main character, Alex, might. No, Cam. Cam is the one who wakes up with the sun. These girls are the sun and the moon, okay? So if you're not into astrology, you better click off this video right now. We got some star signs to talk about. This movie starts with a mystical battle happening in the world of Coventry between the dark and light forces. Now, it took me a couple times watching this scene to realize that this was a big battle because we don't see any of that. We just get a lot of close-ups and some green screen baby action.
The twin daughters of the sun and the moon were born on Halloween, and so was a new hope.
If those babies are so special, why are you putting them on the floor? We can't get a crib in Coventry? There's no Target nearby? I also love that these babies were green screened onto the floor. You can tell from that poorly rendered drop shadow. Disney Channel was like, no, no, no. We can't actually put a baby on the floor. We have to Swiffer first. Now, how did they get those babies to look so scared? It looks like they just flashed a camera in their faces and were like, paparazzi, baby. I didn't even know babies could look terrified, but I guess all you have to do is be cast in a Disney movie, and there you go. But don't worry about these floor babies, okay? Or the battle unseen that's raging outside. We've got two plucky side characters to come help them. Now, I'm gonna say up front, I hope that you like these two characters, because we're gonna get a lot of them throughout the movie. You know, they're a little polarizing. I started off not liking them, and then I had to live with them. So let me know your feelings about these two.
The children, they're still alive.
Hurry, we must hide. The darkness won't rest until it finds them. I'll meet you in another dimension. The twins aren't safe together.
Wait, are we going to the dimension that's purple?
Just run.
See, like, I already don't know much about these characters yet, but I'm ready to push them out of a speedboat. Does that make sense? For me, they bring in this comedic relief element way too early on. Like, this is supposed to be a prologue, essentially, where we learn how dark and dangerous the world was, but I don't get any of that. All I've seen so far is an ornate floor and two babies wearing a necklace. Both of these mystical people bring the babies to Earth from whatever dimension they're in now in Coventry to keep them safe, but the babies cannot be together because that's how the darkness will find them. So they get split up. Both of them go to different earthly hospitals.
I don't think we were followed.
Dude, sorry. Trick or treat. Okay.
It's Toby from Degrassi The Next Generation. I know I've talked about it on this channel before, but we've never talked about Toby specifically, okay? Toby was the kind of kid who just like needed a little bit of bullying to finish developing. One of our main twins or Twitches named Cameron is ready to celebrate her first birthday, and we can tell right off the bat that she has a pretty privileged life. Even though both of her parents seem to be out from a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Surprise!
Gotcha.
I swear one of these days I'm just gonna stick your head in the cake.
I swear, one of these days I'm gonna smash your birthday face into a wall. That's how he sounded. How much did I hate this creepy POV of her being like, surprise? Don't look right in the camera just for one shot out of the whole scene. It's really weird. TV movies love to do it, like talking directly into the camera. Like, she's supposed to be looking at her parents. Wouldn't you be like, surprise, mom and dad? Like, you're talking to two people, not surprise, mom and dad. What? Don't do that. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. The parents are like, oh, we can never surprise you. It's because she's always waking up early.
As long as the sun's up, she's up. So, what do you want to do today? Today's all about you.
Which is not that different from yesterday, the day before that, or the day before that.
As it should be.
I'm sorry, was this cake sent from hell to destroy this young woman? What am I looking at here? Why is there a fresh lemon slice on it with a seed still stuck in it? That's the grossest thing I've ever seen. Semi-homemade by Satan himself. I get it, you have a store-bought cake that you want to make look a little more fancy for your scene. I don't know how making it Country Time Jamboree in the middle there is accomplishing that. You learn off the bat that Cameron is an artist and she's drawing like a picture that seems to be of herself, but it might not be somehow.
David, she's doing a self-portrait.
I really don't know if it is or not. She looks like me, just doesn't feel like me.
I'm really happy for you, Cameron, and I'm gonna let you finish, but your dad over there needs to stop with those icing-related mouth noises. It's driving me crazy. Excuse me, Mr. Taste Tester, we're having a scene over here.
It couldn't be you because she's not talking.
Dad! Oh, the two of you, I swear. No frosting on the wallpaper.
Now, this is the kind of happy, upper-middle-class family that is just begging for a tragedy. If this were in a Disney movie, I'd be very nervous for these happy, happy people. Now we flash over to our other Twitch. Her name is Alex, and she does not have the same circumstances in her living situation. She's poor.
Happy birthday.
Strawberry yogurt cereal and candy corn.
Oh, I'm so lucky to have such thoughtful friends living in such miserable poverty. Get that bowl of dry Cheerios out of my face, Chrysanthemum, or whatever your name is. Do we really need it? Real talk though, I would not even blink twice at this candy corn massacre she's given. I would be like, yep, that's real food. Nourish my body, mind, and soul, little girl. Alex is just living on her friend's couch. That's her best friend Lucille and the little sister.
I started writing in my journal, and before I knew it, it was after midnight. My mom always said, if the moon's up, then I'm up.
Ooh, did your mom also have the insight to get you a real journal to write in? Why is that just like your science binder full of loose leaf? Were you recently at an inpatient facility where spiral notebooks were banned because they're sharp? We've all been there, not judging. Nothing says I'm rich like playing on a tennis court on Halloween day, right? I guess that's the American dream. I don't know. I don't dream a lot.
The caterers are coming at 12, and you've got 100 guests coming at 8 o'clock for your Halloween birthday ball.
Does Walt Disney give you a bonus when you get the whole line out in one breath? She said, first we've got to shave your body hair, then you're going to sit on an ice sculpture for 3 hours to get ready for the Halloween ball. We can tell pretty soon after meeting Cam and Alex that they have something special about them. They can kind of see what's coming a little bit. They have these mystical knowings.
I'll get it.
Get what?
Hi, Beth.
You know, I can't figure out how she does that.
Cam basically shows like concrete evidence of her being able to predict the future, but it goes unnoticed by her parents because they're too busy being the loudest people in your acting class.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you okay?
I'm cool.
Mom, Dad, why are you always acting 3 cocktails in? This is my birthday. It's morning. Next, we're coming up on the scene where Alex and Cameron finally discover that they are one and the same when it comes to genetics and being abandoned. Oh, I have to plug in my computer. Are you guys loving my mug, by the way? I feel like you already said you are, and I just didn't hear it. So go ahead and let me know in the comments, and that way I'll know. So here's Cameron and Alex. They're both out and about in the same area.
You know you can live with us as long as you want to. You're like family. Seriously, what is your problem?
I don't know. Ever since I woke up this morning, I just feel like something horrible is gonna happen.
Yeah, it's called entering your early 20s, Alex. Something horrible is gonna happen. It's called the rest of your life. Alex and Beth are out shopping, and I'm just gonna let you know up front, that's one area that I would have probably changed about this movie. Like, why do we need all of the women in this movie to be obsessed with shopping and getting material things, cars, clothes, parties? Like, I don't know why they made Alex so shallow, or all of her friends. I'm more like that than anything. I bought a bunch of stuff at Sephora yesterday. I don't even want to open it anymore. I just wanted to spend the money. What?
It's going to be something life-changing. Like getting a bad pedicure? Remember what happened to me? I couldn't wear sandals for like a month.
Oh, did you guys catch that cameo from Aggie Cromwell of Halloween Town? Actually, no, I guess it's just some other woman wearing a cloak with Jane Hudson makeup. Next up, there's kind of this funny little moment where the girls are not seeing each other even though they're right under each other's noses. You know, exactly what happened in the first episode of Sister Sister. sister. When it comes to twin meet cutes, we don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? Like wearing the same outfit in a shopping center is all America needs.
Look! What? My favorite store is having a sale!
I don't think Alex needed to be this sort of ditzy, shoppy character. I don't know, like they kind of bounce around in this movie between showing her as a self-centered, spoiled brat, which I think would have been a stronger choice, when really she actually kind of fluctuates more around being a super excitable, caring young woman who happens to have like rich parents who she greatly appreciates. So the characterization wasn't super clear for me. I did like that it wasn't necessarily a stereotypical rich girl, but at the same time, I think it would have helped me at least gather like that this experience is changing her. Give me some sort of instance of her being hyper-focused on her own life so that she's unable to see other people's problems. For example, they're planning this Halloween birthday party tonight. It would be great if they were like, oh, the florist said they couldn't get the white daffodils you wanted. And she's like, I'm sorry, but if we don't get the white daffodils, then I'm gonna literally burn this place to the ground and slaughter your ancestors. That way it's like, okay, she's cute and happy, but she's also really wants what she wants. That way we could have seen that start to melt as she becomes more aware of her sister and her family and how her actions can help them. We're back to those quirky, whatever, orange-wearing people who are protecting the twins for their whole lives. Yeah, we're not done with them yet. The male one is like adding magical signs to get Alex to apply for this job at a store that Cam's also in. They really want them to meet, so they're trying to force this destiny.
Subtle. Well, she can be a little stubborn.
You really raised your voice at me there.
Okay, I'm back on board with these two. They're making me laugh. They're in the mix. I'm here for it. I don't know why she's dressed like she's selling mead at the Renaissance fair, and I don't know why his suit jacket doesn't fit. That's not for me to know, okay? Costumes that fit, it's hard to find in Canada. Somehow Alex manages to get a job at this place without doing any work, really.
Okay. We'll see how it goes. You can start by re-racking all of those clothes and cleaning out the dressing room.
You see, here at the Funky Flower store, we like to get our employees working on the floor before we even learn their names or train them. Just a heads up, we have no employee handbook, so technically sexual harassment is allowed. You guys, here's the biggest moment that we've all been waiting for. Mwah! The twins meeting.
Oh, sorry. Here, I'll get it.
Yeah, it's feeling a little familiar to me.
That girl has my face!
Sister, sister, you don't know how much I missed ya. How different we have come to be. But you do, sister, sister. Of course, Cam is so excited and she's instantly like, oh my God, we're really sisters. This is for real. Alex has a much different reaction, a little more evasive.
It's my birthday too.
See? We are twins. This is too weird.
Oh. Wait! Stop!
Why are you running?
It feels very unusual to me that someone would meet their confirmed twin who has the same birthday as them and they just book it without saying anything. Like, what kind of avoidance tactic is that? What did you do on the day of your mom's funeral? Go to a water park? Cameron chases after Alex.
Stop!
If ripping the clothes off a mannequin is a magical power, then come shopping with me on Black Friday. You'll think I'm Mr. Wizard. The display clothes don't have security tags. As soon as their hands touch, Miranda, who is the twins' real birth mother back in Coventry, gets a feeling on her heart necklace metal thing.
Phantos. Apollo and Artemis. They're alive.
Miranda, no.
Yeah, Miranda, it's a no from me too. Those makeup artists really sent this woman before the cameras and all of those lights with no lash on, no brows, no blush. They said, no, you're good, honey. We're just gonna apply some purple eyeshadow with our thumbs and then send you out there with some CoverGirl Lash Blast. You'll be fine. I'm sorry, but my magical mother needs to have a cut crease or something. Like, we can go harder here. I'm gonna even take the time to Photoshop her some better makeup. Here is the Miranda I think we deserve. What if it was just a picture of Miranda from Sex and the City? She's the queen mother of wearing those overalls. Naturally, Cam and Alex decide to spend the day together to bond as sisters.
But I Cammy. Oh, hey, Cammy.
I'm sorry, did this girl get electroshock therapy while watching the first 20 minutes of Legally Blonde? She might really have a protein malfunction going on in her brain. Even though Cam is like super excited to have found her twin sister, as I said, Alex is being way more cagey about it. She's like not into this at all, even though I don't see how you wouldn't be at least amused.
Didn't your parents tell you that you were adopted?
I only ever had a mom. And yes, she did. She died 3 months ago.
I'm so sorry.
Wow, the love you have for your dead mom is powerful enough to make my windshield wipers move. Love is really strong.
Cameron?
Cameron, your parents aren't home.
Fuck.
Hi. Swell. Now there's 2 of you to track mud up and down the stairs.
Well, that's a really limited reaction there, Susan Boyle. Also, what is a woman like Cameron tracking mud into the house for? Is she out burying bodies at night? This is where they realize Cam has been drawing pictures of her sister the whole time, not self-portraits.
You're really good. Thanks. Is that me? I don't know. I thought it was a self-portrait, but she's wearing my amulet.
Girl, just call it a necklace. You have not been wearing that around your neck since you were born, calling it an amulet your whole life. They would have made fun of you in 8th grade and knocked that right out. We finally get introduced to those 2 caretakers who have names that I cannot remember, like Karsh and Garsh, Mila and Darlish, Liebel and Lulu. I don't know.
We are your protectors and your father's humble servants.
Our father? Is he here?
Well, he died the day you were born.
Great. Well, at least I'm hearing it from a complete stranger with flipped out ends and butterfly clips. The early 2000s were a godless time, weren't they, for hair? All of a sudden, Alex knows exactly what's going on for the rest of the movie because I guess she's been writing all of this stuff in her journal since forever.
We're in Coventry, aren't we?
It's a land of make-believe I used to write about when I was a kid.
Alex has the gift of knowing.
It doesn't really exist.
Well, that's interesting because you just fully acknowledge to being there. Like, why are you calling it an imaginary land that doesn't exist when you just got pulled through a magical portal into it? Also, I'm pretty sure you held hands and switched clothes magically, so why are you still talking about things that are possible and impossible? You, out of everyone, should be happy. You were sleeping on a couch in some trailer earlier today, and you don't want to accept the fact that you've got magic now and you can Harry Potter yourself some 401k? See the bigger picture here, girl. See us still, see us down.
I mean, of course we'll do everything we can to help. No. No way, forget it.
Alex.
No! I know how the story ends, remember?
Alex, please.
Wait!
Alex will just power walk out of any situation she doesn't like. As soon as she gets a little bit of mud on her shoes, she points that bandana right towards the sunset and off she goes. From here out, Alex just conveniently knows everything, so that's real fun.
And our father didn't just die the day we were born. He was killed, trying to protect us.
So what you're saying is, I was born special? Same with Halloween Town. This is like every young child's dream come true for someone to appear out of the abyss and be like, no, 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 turns out you have magical powers. You're not just a shy little boy with repressed sexual desires. You're a wizard, Harry. I think it's worth teaching kids that they're special and unique, you know? It's just kind of a disappointment for them when they realize it's not special in the kind of way that lets you move things around with your mind. You're special and unique in that you're like, I don't know, pre-diabetic.
Alex, you can't just walk away from me. We just found each other. We're sisters.
For a kid's Halloween movie, you girls spend a lot of time on the verge of tears. Cameron's begging convinces Alex to stay and stick this out.
Whatever this is, we're in this together.
In the script it says after this line, we both exhale triumphantly. I'm gonna exhale through my mouth. Okay, I'm gonna do my nose. Perfect. It seems like as the night draws closer to the party, the darkness is starting to creep in. By the way, every time I say the darkness, I just think of the band that's like, I believe in a thing called love, just listen to the rhythm of my heart. I believe in a thing called love. Ooh. Ow. That sounded just like him, didn't it? I'm Twitches with the darkness. Don't I look just like this guy? The housekeeper, I don't know what her deal is. She's all over the place for the rest of the day. Like, just keep an eye on her. I think she's been stealing the silverware and drinking the cooking sherry.
Mrs. Barnes! Mrs. Barnes!
I don't know why throughout this whole movie, nobody's screaming voice matches their talking voice. Anytime a woman screams in this movie, they go right up 8 octaves to ah! I scream like this. Ah! Like, it's not pretty, it's not dainty, and I don't think it's for anyone. Back in Coventry, we're really starting to feel like this guy, Thantos, which is almost Thanos, so that was confusing. Thantos, he is not a good guy, even though he's the new husband of Miranda. He's actually Alex and Cam's uncle, so he's the brother of the dead father who then married the wife. That's crazy to me. If your husband's gonna die and you're gonna marry his brother, I'm gonna put you on an episode of Dateline because something weird's happening.
Believe me, even though I have never laid eyes on your daughters, I already love them as if they were my own.
I mean, I never questioned that. You're their uncle. You should love them. The fact that you're trying to convince me is suspicious, sir. With that cut over your eye, why hasn't that healed in 21 years? I'm suspicious that your blood isn't clotting. Knowing that she had written about all of this Coventry history in her journals, Alex takes them back to her house where they go through her old notebooks, which are actually just binders.
This is it. The history of Coventry Island, written between 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. when I couldn't sleep.
when the moon is up.
The moon is actually above the horizon line 12 hours a day, but because of daylight, it's only visible for like 6 hours of the night. So if she's up whenever the moon is up, this girl should be fully nocturnal. She should be working the night shift at Arby's, not looking for jobs at the store. She actually needs to look outside of retail. If all she can do, if she's compelled to stay up all night and journal, she needs to start self-publishing her own young adult novel series about Coventry and sell that stuff, and boom, you don't have to get a real job.
We don't have much time.
Okay, since when do you need glasses to see the darkness now? Because the housekeeper could see it just through the window. I really wish that Twitches would establish the rules of this magic, because the magic is wishy-washy all around. The rules of the powers, the rules of the darkness, it all feels very made up as you go, and it wouldn't have taken too much more effort to just define what these laws are. And I think this movie is actually based on a series of books, so maybe they go deeper into the lore there, but I would never know. It all gets lost in the mix when you shoot it on a low-budget Vancouver schedule. Right here is like probably the most expositional part of the whole movie, because Alex starts recounting everything she's ever written when she was 8 years old, and we're just supposed to be like, oh, we knew it the whole time, okay.
When we were born, they were in the midst of a horrible war with the darkness. It destroyed everything in its path. Our father, Aaron, he gave us every drop of power he had left. Then the darkness came for us. But when he tried to touch us, something happened.
We used our super magical iMovie effects to defeat him. You hear me saying show, don't tell a lot on this channel, and somehow this sequence manages to do half of both. It's like all telling because she's expositionally explaining the backstory of what happened on that night, and then they give us these flashbacks, but they're still not really showing us anything. Like, if it's destroying everything in its path, why can't I see what the other citizens of Coventry look like, or how this affected them? Did it burn them up into ashes? Did it freeze them into statues? I want to know how it's taking over. The darkness is so vague throughout this whole thing. It doesn't say what it's gonna do to people. It doesn't say how it's gonna take over the world. It just talks about stealing the light. So I wish the screenwriters have given us a little more detail about the exact mechanics. Like, what I think would have been a cool thing is if on their 21st birthday, the Twitches are set to reclaim their throne. And so Thanos knows that this prophecy is gonna be fulfilled. If he doesn't somehow get in there and prevent the two sisters from uniting around this certain spell or something, like they're finding their way towards what's gonna defeat him, and it's his job to stop it. So that would have made it cool, because then this dark cloud could come in and just mess with all of their plans whenever they start getting too good at magic. Because as it is, we just have Thanos kind of disappearing and then reappearing as the dark cloud and then coming back later. It's not clear what his motivation is other than to just get the girl.
I wrote a ton of stories about her. She married our uncle. She never stopped hoping we were alive.
Like, isn't this really tedious to anyone else that Alex just keeps being like, and then she married our uncle? It's like, now all of a sudden you know everything? 2 minutes ago you were not believing any of this, and now you're like, oh, the knowledge was always in me. Those stupid stories I wrote and got a check plus on in 8th grade are now the story of my life. I wonder if this movie made a bunch of other little girls be like, oh, perhaps my stories are also true, and I am part dolphin. Alex introduces Cam to her best friend Lucille with the red hair, and for some reason it's really awkward. I don't know if this was meant to convey something or if it's just like bad directing.
So I know I told you to do something special for your birthday, but I didn't think you'd go out and get yourself a twin.
Isn't it amazing?
My manager thinks you should fill out an application. He says we're gonna have some openings.
Oh, great, thanks.
Okay, well, I'll just see you back at the apartment.
Lucinda here is my best friend in the whole world. Hey, do you want to crash a party tonight?
Is it just me, or at first does it seem like Alex is trying to pretend like she doesn't know this waitress? She's like, great, thanks. And then Lucille seems really put off by it, so she's like, great, well, you know we live together. And that somehow encourages Alex to be like, oh, I should introduce you to my sister. Like, I really thought when they showed that, Alex was like embarrassed of her friend because she was a waitress and not some rich person. In fact, I think that could have been an interesting dynamic. They didn't go hard enough with the class division for me in this movie. I see what they were trying to insinuate, but it wasn't really fully there for me. We already talked about how Cameron could be shown to be a little bit more self-centered and in her own little rich girl world. I would like it even more than if on the flip side, we had Alex being really embarrassed or ashamed of where she came from, you know, sleeping on her friend's couch, not having a car of her own. They might even been cool if they had Alex lie a little bit to make herself sound like she had better circumstances at home. Like maybe she was like, oh, well, my apartment is just, I'm in between places, so that's why I'm staying with my friend here. And she might be like, oh, I don't have a job because I'm a famous writer, so I just get paid. Like if she told a few white lies to impress her newfound sister, that could have come up later and had to be like, you don't need to lie to me, I'm glad I found you. And it could have been a moment of growth for each of them. Maybe that's what they had originally drafted and that's why that moment was in the script, but I don't know. It confused me, it slowed things down. The girls are practicing their spells. Apparently, in addition to writing all of her life story, Alex also wrote down a bunch of spells in her notebook.
To make an object disappear, tap it twice and say, oh dear. What? I was 7 when I wrote that. To make an object disappear, tap it twice. Say, oh dear.
Wait, do you have to say the whole rhyme or just do what the rhyme said? Like, is the spell instructions? Because then you would just say, oh dear, and then boom, it's gone. Now I'm gonna make it reappear. Filmmaking is fun. The rhyming thing ends up not having to be a part of it anyway, so I don't know why they ever introduced this rhyming part. There's a lot that they just kind of throw in and then just let it fly by the wayside. Couldn't say why, probably just trying to get it done. The two sisters are starting to fine tune their powers and they even come up with a nickname for themselves.
Go Twitches! Go Twitches! Twitches! I've been thinking about that all day. Twin witches.
Yeah, can we get an ambulance for these two girls sitting next to me at a restaurant? They're both convulsing and screaming that they're twitching. Next, we get a little montage of the girls practicing their spells. They're doing their best, but there's some unseen side effects that are causing some comedic results for their caretakers. But either way, we get them going all around Canada, saving the day with their good magical powers.
When I need a real man, come jog this way.
Hey, now I can slobber on my own tits. What a life. I just want to point out that putting those men in drag is not going to teach them to stop catcalling women. It just gives them a reason to insult one another for looking feminine because in their minds, they see women as inferior. But hey, I get it. The 21-year-old Twitches are just trying to make a joke, just trying to do a visual gag here. And since I know you're wondering, for me, the hottest construction worker is the guy on the right. Oh, I guess they're fishermen. Ooh, I want to get caught in your net and then you can cut my entrails out. Ooh. Things are coming to a fever pitch with the darkness, guys. I hate to say it.
What aren't you following? It's here!
Oh, that's scary! What are we gonna do about that?
Well, I'm thinking of a plan!
Really bad ADR here. Usually they have the ADR scenes where there's a big wind fan because those fans are noisy. I think one thing that gives away bad automatic dialogue recording is when the person in the actual scene should be yelling really loud. Like if wind was blowing that loudly, you would be like, it's happening! We gotta get out of here! Because the wind would be in your ears. But then when they re-recorded the dialogue, it sounds more like, it's happening! We gotta get out of here! And it just doesn't match the intensity that the actor is showing, so just something I've noticed. Cam seems really confident about their ability to defeat the darkness after like minutes of discovering they have powers.
I'm not going anywhere near that place until we're sure we can defeat the darkness. It wouldn't stand a chance against us. Have you not seen what we can do?
I've seen you carve some pumpkins, eat an apple, and challenge some gender boundaries. In my neighborhood, we just call that October. Now is time to get worried, guys, because the darkness has finally arrived and it's causing property damage like we can only imagine. No, not those easily replaced light bulbs. Quick, how many Twitches does it take to change a light bulb? Let me know in the comments below. This evil spirit has been waiting for 21 years and then he finally gets his chance and he's like, this will be my most evil plan ever. Okay, now please hold. Light bulbs are so weird. No wonder Thantos hates them. I want to eat it. For some reason. Do you ever want to just crunch glass light bulbs and feel what it would feel like? Douche, where's my brain cells? Where's my brain cells? If I cut myself with glass during this shoot, we know why. And it was so worth it. P.S. This was the second video on my channel where I've destroyed a light bulb for fun. So if you can comment below what the first video was, I will pick one of the right answers and send them $50 via PayPal or Venmo. Get watching, figure it out. Don't cheat, don't know how you would. For the official rules and terms and conditions, please kiss my ass. After the two girls narrowly escaped Thantos by escaping into Coventry, Cameron is no longer the excited one about this whole discovery. It was interesting actually, and I really like this point, where the two girls actually flip their stance.
No, this is supposed to be fun! Magic and sparkles, castles and unicorns.
Every straight girl after watching gay porn for the first time. Everyone's dressed like a dog, but not in a Disney World type way. The girls are learning more and more about the scope of their powers and what it allows them to do. They can travel between worlds.
You actually opened the door to Coventry yourself.
Really?
Really?
You trusted your powers and you trusted yourself.
Like the time I went to that circuit party the day after throat surgery. Didn't rupture a single suture, baby. Now is where we get our third act conflict. I guess it's about the third act. Yeah, we're getting there. It's more like the midpoint conflict, but we're a little closer to the end. So Alex and Cam are both arguing about whether or not they should help out with Coventry and fighting the darkness, because it turns out all of Coventry is depending on them to do this.
We can't do this.
Yes, we can! If we do it together. Don't you feel it when we put our hands together?
Alex is doing a lot of arm acting, isn't she? She's like, oh, we will do it from our souls and our hearts. Someone from the costume department said, honey, we need to see that peasant blouse flutter, so let's gesticulate as much as we can. She said, we're witches and we're sisters. Don't you see? We both belong together. Another little moment of comedy from the two caretakers as the girls run off to the real world.
I never get tired of that.
I do.
Really?
You do it all the time at parties and...
Why didn't you say something?
Well, I just...
Okay, that was funny and all, but why does that door look like it's been kicked in several times? The feds have been raiding Coventry almost on a yearly basis and we're not getting any answers. Once they get back to the mortal world, Cam is out of there. She's like, I've got to get to my party. I don't want none of this darkness coming in and touching my ankles anymore, not exploding my light bulbs in my den or whatever. So she makes her way home and we get the best musical interlude of this movie. Like, you guys, the next song you're about to hear is literally the best song that's ever been written since Mozart put a stupid piece of words on paper.
Be careful.
Rushing through your hair, rushing through your hair. Don't let nobody tell you into the rush now. You don't have to know how.
Into the Rush. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Disney Channel movies just don't get soundtracks like this anymore, where real pop icons are able to lend their tunes. Into the rush now, you don't have to know how to use a tampon, girl. Whatever she says, I don't know. Back at the party, which is really fun Halloween times with a lot of weird costumes, Cam is feeling a little conflicted about her choice to bail on Coventry.
It's not wrong to love your life and want to keep it exactly the way it is it?
No, that's why I refused to let my great aunt move in with me when she was sick. And she was totally cool with it from what the coroner tells me. Back at the poor people's house, which is painted disgusting orange, Alex is really sad. She's sad.
I'm taking her out for one last pass. There's a couple of people on the block she hasn't shaken down yet.
Thanks again for dinner, Miss Delegatio.
No problem.
They hired a whole ass actress to play Lucille's mom to do what? Just to teach us that they have a complicated Italian last name? You know, I come from an Italian family too, but we don't wear ruffled shirts, so explain that, Disney. Alex has to get to Coventry for whatever. I can't even remember anymore. Everyone's jumping around between locations. They're like, I'm going to Alex's house, and I'm going to Cam's house, and I'm going to Coventry, then I'm gonna be in America, then I'm gonna be at the shopping center. It's like, if you guys could just stay in one place for more than 12 seconds, I might be able to figure out what's going on with this plot. Getting a little tedious.
Trust my powers, trust my powers. Of course, 8 hours ago I didn't know I had powers.
The color of these bathroom walls, were we huffing gas in the early thousands? What? The color scheme was so crazy for interior design. We had full-grown 45-plus-year-old people being like, I want to paint my living room to look like it came out of the Nickelodeon lounge. Once she's back in Coventry, Alex finally reunites with her mother. Just gonna say it, Tia and Tamara Mowry are bringing the real tears in this movie. They're such good actresses, and their chemistry is amazing. I think that's one of the best parts of this movie. Like, honestly, the story is a little weak, and the plot has some issues. The special effects are not much. I mean, it's a competent TV movie, but I think it's really helped by the fact that Tia and Tamara have such good chemistry together, and you believe that they're sisters. Their closeness, their reactions to one another feel real. And they cry. They bring the wet cheeks when we need them. Wet cheeks, nobody tells you your cheeks are moist unless you are crying 'cause your mom died.
You did what you had to do. Coventry wouldn't exist without you.
How could you possibly know that?
Yeah, exactly. Alex is getting real annoying how you just know everything. What sucks about this movie is that there's no sense of discovery as soon as we realize that Alex has been writing these stories down, because there's physically no act of having to discover it. Like, it would even be better if she had to go back to these notebooks and be like, according to my notes, I wrote on Halloween of 2004 that this and this was gonna happen, and like using her writings as a puzzle. It would be better if they were like cryptic and sort of like, oh, I've been writing these poems, but I don't know what they mean, or I've been writing these weird rhymes, but what could it mean? And it was all some sort of symbolism that they had to decipher. Instead, she just writes down like, and then my mother married my uncle, and my uncle was the evil one. It's like, okay, so the power was in you the whole time. Like, there's no act of finding out anything. No, not for me, thank you. I don't think. Right as she blows out the candles at her party, Alex is really overcome.
Happy
What in the Canada Day are some of these costumes, can I ask? Like, we got a guy in the yellow shirt here. Is that a muzzle that's decorated to look like a dog nose? Like, what? I understand that they had to avoid like licensed characters or whatever, but these kids all look like they were sprayed with adhesive and just ran screaming through a Goodwill. This is the vibe. Finally, Cameron comes clean to her mother after her mom speaks to the best friend Beth and figures out, oh my God, Cameron met her twin sister today and didn't tell me.
Beth, talk to me. You really have had quite the day. Are you sure she's your sister and not just somebody who looks a lot like you?
Mom, we're sisters.
Well, I think that's pretty wonderful. So why isn't she here?
She really wanted to find our birth mother, and I'm happy here.
If there's anything that I know, is that love is infinite. And just because you want to give some to somebody else doesn't mean that you'll take any away from me.
I love this little conversation here. I feel like it finally gets to the heart of the movie, which is not about magic and spells, but it's really actually a much more touching story about how non-nuclear families can still function in like a loving way. Just because you have multiple sets of parents or a blended family doesn't mean that it's any less valid than a nuclear family with just a mom and dad. You didn't see a lot of that in Disney Channel movies. You know, we had no Modern Family at the time, so getting representation like this I think was probably helpful because many kids movies were just showing I have a mom and a dad, or I have a mom and a dead dad. There weren't too many options to be like, I actually have more parents than my friends do, and how do I navigate that? Kudos to Disney for this. After Cameron mentions the darkness, the mom is like, oh, you used to draw pictures of this scary face all the time. So Cameron is like, what? And she runs up and checks it out, and it's the face of Thanos. This reveal was totally neutered for me. We already knew it'd be Thanos. Like, he was doing shady stuff from the first time we saw him on screen. At one point he was like, I intend to find them. Like, he's been broadcasting that he's evil from the first minute, so it wasn't a good reveal, and also this picture doesn't look like him very much. Thanos is also manipulating Alex and her mother back at Coventry by being like, I'm gonna go try to get Cameron because she's at risk alone over there.
Without you by her side, your sister is practically defenseless against the darkness.
What?
Wait here.
Why did Thanos just have a That's So Raven style psychic vision transition? And he was smiling creepy. He was like, wait here. There were like 2 instances where they go with some crazy zoom wipe in this movie, and I'm like, okay. We really were just like going wild with those pre-packaged After Effects transitions in the early thousands. We were like, nobody's seen this before. Digital yearbook, virtual page flip, boxes. You know when the maid earlier saw this big smoky thing filling the room and screamed? I don't know what came of that. Apparently she just went right back to her normal day of work and started sweeping, because here she is again. And then she apparently gets eaten alive by this dark force. Bye. Yeah, the maid character, I don't know why she's the only one who got Thanos this whole time. And I think I forgot a clip of it, but she's not really dead. She shows up later and her hair is just sucked up, like she's been somehow sucked into a tornado. I don't know what happened to her while she was disappeared. I don't know if she was tortured. She's probably really traumatized, but that's her problem. We don't cover healthcare at this household, okay? It's time for the big climactic Thanos scene, okay, everybody? So you better watch your light.
Not here. Not my friend.
Yeah, nobody lights a 4th of July sparkler around my loved ones. Seriously, I think this is where the budget was really starting to dwindle for this movie, because they did not have the energy or materials to put together like, the darkness is taking over the household. They kind of play it off like after the lights all explode, the party guests all clap. They're like, oh, it was fireworks. But I think it would have been really cool if they could have shown something scary actually happening, like, ooh, the darkness comes over and everyone's like, oh my gosh, we better run. And the party clears out, and then we can have this big climactic thing at the party. I think that would have been more exciting. It would have signaled to me that this is like the climax, but instead it was very short. And then da-da-da, it's over. The 2 caretakers are trying to get Cameron back to Thanos so that they can be safe. They're like, your party guests will be fine as soon as you get back to the realm. So again, that kind of limits the stakes for me. Like, I want her friends and family to be in danger so that she has to react in a way that's actually protecting her parents that she loves so much and all of her friends. So she like is doing this to save the life that she loves so much, but she's doing it by also embracing her sister and her magic. That would have worked better for me.
Go ahead, I'll fend it off as long as I can.
Be strong.
You're a couple?
Off and on again for the last 21 years.
You interdimensional sluts hooking up on the side while you're supposed to be babysitting. I see you. Camp Crystal Lake is calling. After the mom runs upstairs, she manages to save Cameron from the darkness because the darkness sort of like gets scared off by the mom.
I can't believe that everything that you said is true.
Your father and I were just in the middle of grinding up antipsychotics into your champagne, but I guess we don't need to. It's crazy to me that the parents fully see this magic happening and they just like do not react appropriately. Like the physics of your world have just been shattered. Our daughter just evaporated into a closet, and we'll be right back after these messages. Thantos quickly makes his return to Coventry, and he starts spreading lies about Alex, or about Cameron. I'm losing their names at this point, but we're almost there.
Miranda, I'm so sorry. Found her and barely escaped my life. Our worst fear has been realized. She is in fact being controlled by the darkness.
Nice try. I beat you here by a good 5 minutes.
You've been gooped. You've been gooped by the Twitch witch bitch. This reveal could have felt more like gotcha if they had just, I don't know, written it a little better. I feel like if I had seen more of the world of Coventry, this would all feel a lot more real. Like all I've seen is this big empty castle and some CGI lands. I don't see any of the people who are at stake here. Like I have no concept of what saving Coventry actually is like. Maybe there's better depictions of Coventry in the sequel. There is a Twitches too, so let me know if I should cover that one as well.
I'm so relieved.
Whatever, loser.
This was the blueprint for Tess Tyler. Mother Dearest is not having any more of her husband's manipulation and backstabbing. My husband tries to kill my daughters. It's divorce city, baby.
If you'd never laid eyes on the girls before, how did Apollo draw a picture of your face coming out of the darkness the night Aaron died?
Miranda, I told you, I'm just not into graphic novels. Books are stupid. Stop showing me this crap. They get Thantos under wraps and they start needling him for the truth. He denies that he had anything to do with this, but there's evidence.
You killed our father and tried to kill us.
No, that's not true. Miranda, please. My own brother?
Wait, he's been hiding his palms under leather gloves for 21 years of marriage? That woman's breasts must be covered in calluses. I think this is supposed to be showing that he had brands on his hand from where he tried to grab those amulets on the day he attacked the girls as babies. But it's not really clear to me, like that wasn't explicitly ever shown. I guess it touched them. It was hard to connect. I could have used some lines being like, the imprints of the amulets were burned onto your hands when you tried to grab them, just to like confirm that that's what I'm seeing, because the amulet sizes look different here. Nitpicking, sorry. Gotta do it.
This is only just the beginning.
It's just weird to me that this magic dimension also contains lighting fixtures from Home Depot. Thantos gets the upper hand once again and he actually kidnaps Miranda. That's scary. And then for some reason, Alex and Cameron just start screaming each other's names at each other for a little bit. Marco Polo all you want, sweetie. Your mom is currently dying. You just met her and she's dying. So I don't really know why you're playing these games. They're trying to defeat Thantos by thinking of the light, and then they realize it's not just the light they have to be thinking about.
The opposite of darkness isn't light. It's love! Aaron's love is what saved us the day we were born. Think about love. Only about love!
Only about love! This is such a cheesy ending. They're like, were they literally thinking about light bulbs before this? Were they like, fire, flashlights, glow sticks? Like, you're not literally thinking about light. I thought you were thinking about like love, happiness, togetherness. But I guess that's not what was happening up until now, when they start thinking about things that they love.
Who do you love most in the whole world? My mom, my parents, Lucinda, Nicole, best friends, my grandparents.
My colostomy bag. I love when they're screaming out the names of people that they love and they're like, Karsh, Marsh, the people that I met 2 days ago. I would be like, garlic bread, cotton candy, buffalo wings. Why are all of mine food related? This is why I have heart disease. But that does the trick and we get this lame final battle where it's just a beam of light going up into the sky and then Thantos kind of dissolves. Again, a really bad final battle for me. Like we didn't get any sort of physical action. Like they were just holding hands and a beam shot up at the sky while Thantos flew around them. That's essentially just two people standing in a room and wishing for the conflict to end. There's no action to it. Also, like, we already knew that these girls loved their families. That was always really clear throughout the movie, so it felt kind of like a lame discovery, like they just had to say it and think about it. Okay. Why couldn't there have been something with these physical amulets that they've been carrying around for this whole time? Like, they had to restore the amulet onto the throne in order to restore their power, and in order to do that, they needed to harness the power of love to break free from Thanos' bind. you know, like that would have felt a little more active, but it's fine. It's fine because it's almost over. And after the girls all hug their mother, we end up back at that party, and the girls have their one final moment together.
Go Twitches, it's our birthday, it's a birthday.
Aw, so heartfelt. But actually, this was not the original ending of the movie. In fact, there was an alternate ending that I found on YouTube, which ends still in the castle, right as the mom and the girls are looking up at the moon. The girls are like, we'll come back and visit anytime, which is, to me, kind of anticlimactic. It's like, all right, we're leaving now. And that's when this happens.
To home. It's not opening. Your necklace, it's gone.
It must have fallen off in the darkness. Thantos must have it. And now the real work begins.
What is that? Why did they ever shoot that? I mean, obviously they're setting it up for a sequel where they have to go and defeat Thanos more, but the knowing smirks are so out of place. Like, your whole world is still in danger, and they're like, now the real work begins. Maybe they were setting up for like a whole series so that they could be like, and every week we'll travel to a new part of Coventry. But looking at this budget, they're like, and here's the broom closet today. What did you guys think of Twitches? Were you nostalgic watching this 2005 masterpiece? I definitely liked it. I mean, it's better than a lot of other TV movies I've seen. A little bit of issues with the plot there. The budget probably showed a little bit in areas they didn't want it to. Tia and Tamara are national treasures. I love them in this movie. But let me know what you guys think below. Also, what other movies and TV shows should I cover next on my channel? We're coming up on the age of the best time of the year. Hallmark Christmas movies, Lifetime Christmas movies, baking championships. It's all up for grabs, so let me know what we should see next. Also, I know I promised you guys I would do the Halloween Town sequel, so I will mix those in throughout November, likely as well. But just let me know what you want to see, and most importantly, give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns just like this. I'll put a link to the playlist below. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on those notifications, and you'll always be the first through the door to Coventry. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you so much for exploring your tween witches with me. I will see you next time.